How's it, everyone? Casey here with the Coyote Works channel. Well, I appreciate you stopping by to join me for the adventure you're about to see in this video. For those of you that enjoy my content and want to kick a couple of bucks in for gas and tires, there's a PayPal donate link in the description of this video down below. There's also Coyote Works merchandise available at the Lolo Overland Outfitters website. Having said that, I hope you all enjoy this adventure as much as I did. What is up, guys? Casey here with the Coyote Works channel. Well, I am headed out on another overland adventure for a couple of days. I'm gonna explore some canyons where I'm hoping to find some pictographs and maybe some Native American signs, and also kind of on the hunt. Out in this area there was an old moonshine still. I'm also going to be meeting up with a couple of buddies of mine. My buddy Matt, who I haven't been on a trip with, I think, since the last Coyote Works group overland trip. And then I've got another buddy, Alvin the Texan, that I connected with on Instagram. He's heading up here as well. So I'm headed out a bit early. I'm going to do a little bit of scouting, see if I can find us a good spot to camp, so that when those guys roll in a little later in the day, we'll know right where to go. I'm in a different rig this time than you guys have seen me. I'm in my old 1999 GMC Sierra that I inherited from my grandfather. And this thing has been in its stock condition for the last 2 years. And then finally, I just took it up to Lolo Overland about 6 weeks ago or so, and they did some work to it. So this is the maiden voyage of the newly renovated Grandpa's Truck, or Coyote Works Overland Vehicle 2.0. So I'm going to be going kind of old school on this trip. I'm going back to my roots and how I used to camp way back in the day. I've got a little bit of camping gear thrown in the back of the truck, and I've got a ground tent. So this is going to be kind of an old school camping trip. You'll get to meet a couple of buddies of mine. We'll see what kind of cooking we do around the fire, and hopefully we'll find some signs of old history. All right, guys, we are off the pavement. So we're heading down we're actually not too far from Brothers, and we're heading down a road called Frederick Butte Road. We're gonna go down it. It's a pretty wide, well-maintained gravel road that will head down for just a ways, and then we'll start heading off into the sticks on little trails, and we will actually see how this truck with the new mud terrains and the lift kit and everything does. It looks like it might be a little soft out there, so we'll see how this goes. All right, so I just stopped here. I'm gonna do a quick little bit of map recon, try and figure out what is the best path into this area I want to go, because part of what I'm trying to do is get the timing from where I'm gonna meet my buddies later and how long it's gonna take to get from there back into this camp spot. I'm using the Gaia GPS app. I don't know if you guys can see that, and just gonna find my location right here. All right, guys, got it. We're gonna head up here about another mile or two, and then we are gonna turn off of this road. I shouldn't have too much further until the area where I'm hoping that we'll find a campsite in, but this is really cool out in here. I'm basically on kind of the southeastern edge of the Imperial Valley, and as you guys know, I spent some time about 2 years ago really scouring that Imperial Valley for all the homesteads that I could find out there. And now I'm up on this, like I said, up on this southern edge of it, and I'm finding that there's actually even a lot more stuff up in here. So I don't have a lot of time to work with right now, but there are definitely more homestead sites to be found up in here. So this area out here I call the Dust Bowl of Central Oregon. The reason why I think about it like that is because it's a perfect example of a place that was completely settled. There was a community, a school, a dance hall, and then somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 to 200 homesteads scattered around it. So it was really a legitimate community. And then, of course, when they first moved out here, it was that same old story. When all those settlers moved out here and settled the Imperial Valley, It had been a couple of wet years and there was a lot of really good grass. And then within a few short years of them being out here, of course, the climate pattern changed back to normal and everything dried out and they all starved out and went away. Now, when I use the term starved out when it comes to the homesteaders, that doesn't necessarily mean they literally starved. It just means that they ran out of resources, ran out of the ability to be able to sustain life, and they had to leave. And what a lot of them did from that point is they went to the cities where they could find work. All right, I just jumped out because there's this little bit of a rock wall right here, so I'm pretty sure it's close to a homestead site. And we're gonna come back and look around this area a little bit more. I just did a quick walk around, but we're running out of time and I want to find us a good camping spot. So we're not gonna spend too much time here, but there should be a couple of homestead sites down this road that we're traveling. So I wanted to stay focused on finding a campsite at that point, but as often happens when I'm driving around those little two-track roads out there, it wasn't long before I spotted something off in the distance that I had to jump out and go take a look at. Man, I do not know what is going on here, but I saw from the road these boards in here, and I didn't know. This is another one of those places where I've driven by 100 times and I never noticed these boards over here. So I think there was a homestead site right in here. So I'm gonna have to scour the area at some point and see what I can find, but right now I'm just gonna mark it on the GPS so that I can find it again. But pretty interesting. Let's see if I can find any cans or anything real quick. Old stump right here, and not a super old can, but kind of a cool one I found laying down on the ground there. So there's definitely something going on in here. This is pretty cool in here. I'm just hiking up along these rocks here, kind of scoping out around this campsite. Got pretty much the perfect campsite for this time of year down in this canyon. And man, these rock formations are just really cool up in here. There's just so much history up in this country, and it all happened, or at least all of the homesteader history happened over a relatively short period of time, but God, it just never ceases to amaze me. Every time I come out here, I find more. A lot of times it's just a matter of the light being a certain way. And like I said, I've driven down this road probably 30, 40 times over the course of the years. And this is the first time that I happened to look off to my left and see that one board out there that the sun was catching. Okay, so at this point I'm just heading back into Brothers to meet up with Alvin and Matt. I got a message on Instagram from Alvin, so I know he is in Brothers at the rest area, so I'm just about 5 minutes away. I don't know where Matt is. I haven't heard from him, but hopefully he is either there or on his way also. So we got Alvin and Matt in tow. Man, it is getting windy out here this afternoon too, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes. There's a few clouds out there, but I don't see any major looking weather coming. So man, I gotta tell you guys, I'm really happy with how these Bilstein 5100s and this lift kit ride on these washboardy gravel roads out here. Right now it is just gliding along here. Turning off this main gravel road and heading back towards the campsite that I scouted out earlier. Nothing?
Somebody had a little fire there. Looks like they cut down the tree that was there and burned it. Definitely some kind of dish.
Cool old porcelain.
Yeah, sneak.
All right.
I'm gonna have to get new tires soon. I've had 45,000 miles. How many more?
Really?
Yeah.
I see a lot of old stumps in here, which is a sure sign that there was some pretty extensive homestead activity in the area. They probably were down in the flat down there where they did their farming, and then up here where there's some of this old growth juniper, this is where they would have come to get the lumber to build their fences, to burn for firewood in the wintertime. So that's one of the things about, you start noticing lots and lots of old stumps, you know, depending on how old they are. Like these, I can tell are around that 100-year-old plus mark around here. So it's a good sign to watch out for, a good indication that you're in the neighborhood of where some kind of historic homesteading type activity happened. All right, we spotted some nice pile of wood over there, and we're gonna stop, harvest a little bit, and Matt's got a little bit of room in the back of his pickup. We'll throw some in back there. Got the Makita electric chainsaw, and batteries are good. Hey guys, check out this badass hoodie I'm sporting from my buddy Charles with ADV with Roscoe. Just quick shout out to him. If you haven't already, check Charles out on Instagram and YouTube, ADV with Roscoe. Put a tag down here. Hey buddy, I hope you're out doing something fun. I'm pretty sure you're probably snowboarding or camped up in a mountain parking lot somewhere. But hope to see you soon, man. In short order, we had a nice little supply of firewood to get our evening started, and we were back on the trail. We only had a few more miles of trail to cover before we would get to our campsite. I think we were all a little anxious at that point to get to our spots, get our camp set up, and try to get in a decent little hike and explore some of the area before we ran out of daylight. Alright guys, well, I think I found a nice little flat spot tucked back in here to the trees and a little ways away from the other campsites there. So let me show you my first time loadout in my 21-year-old 1999 GMC, my grandpa's truck. So this will probably be a pretty typical setup of how I run this thing. That's all of the stuff that I need for a winter camping trip in there. I'm gonna haul it out, throw a tarp down, and I'll show you guys what that all looks like. So I basically have these two boxes right here, my table, and then a Rotopax 2.5 gallon of water here, and then well, you guys can guess what that is. And then right up here I have my tent, And I'm going to show you guys this. This I'm really excited about. This will be the first night I'm using it. This is the Gazelle T4 tent. My cot strapped right to the top of it. And then this bag right here is my sleeping gear. So I've got a pretty nice spot right here that I'm going to throw the tent out on, but because there's a lot of snow on the ground and a little bit of mud peeking through, I'm just going to throw down a poly tarp on the ground. All right, there's the tent. I'm going to set the rain fly aside, the stakes aside. So it's got this one strap, and then I'm just going to start opening it up. Now we're going to throw the rain fly on. All right, now that the rain fly is on, we're going to go inside and pop it up the rest of the way. Actually, I do have to come around here and clip the rain fly down. Cot and bedding. Here's my cot. It's just your basic steel cot. But this is a little bit larger one, which is nice for me. Okay, I think I told you guys inside this duffel bag is all of my sleeping gear. So, got a couple of mats. One for inside the tent, and one for right in front of my bed. Now let's get my bedroll out of here. Pillow. This is my little setup here. I've got my bed on my cot. I've got a little nightstand there. My Swiss box, I think that's what they're called, from Lolo Overland. I've got my Ready Light lantern, also from Lolo Overland. My Mr. Heater Buddy Heater. Put a little chair over there, and that's my bag of clothes. Got a little rug there. Pretty spacious in here. A little nightstand. My bed. Empty Gatorade bottle. Should be a nice little hovel. Woo! How's it going, Matt?
Good, buddy. How are you?
I smell fire.
Yeah.
You didn't move into the little hobo abode yet?
No, not yet.
Nice.
With the rent around here, man, that's probably a $1,200 abode a month.
Right.
Hey,
Alvin the Texan.
right here, under here.
What do you got, man? All right, so this is how they do it in Texas, huh?
I guess so, yeah. On the coast or in San Antonio.
So where did you drive from?
I drove from Fort Irwin, California, so I'm a Army nurse there, and I came to hang out with friends, and then I met Casey, and I met a new friend, Matt, as well.
Awesome,
and,
man.
This is my little setup right now. It's still not fully, It just
So you're just gonna basically you set up a little hooch in the back of your Jeep and
yeah, right here. Just like,
nice, man.
and then close it, and then if it rains or snows or whatever,
Yep.
it's all good to go still.
All right, well, we got a nice reflective wall set up for the fire. Got all our chairs out. I'll show you guys a little bit later, but I got a nice batch of cowboy beans and franks. A little bit later, we'll throw those on a pot, put them next to the fire, and have us a nice meal. But I think first I'm just waiting for Matt and Alvin the Texan to get back up here, and we're going to try to get in a little bit of a hike before the sun goes all the way down.
Oh yeah,
Matt's checking out his new hammock chair, and I think we're just waiting for Alvin. I think we're going to go on a little bit of a hike, but
I think so.
what do you think about the spot?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's perfect because it kind of blocks the wind. I mean, there's always going to be a little bit of wind, but just the rocks around here are really neat.
Yeah, super cool little spot for sure.
This out here never ceases to amaze me.
I know.
Beauty. It really, like, it never gets old.
No.
They don't really have a taste, I realized.
Huh?
I thought they would. Kind of a
It
bland.
tastes a lot of like what you saute it in.
Because I have a newfound. What are bushes part of it? That one in the middle.
Yeah, stay back from that edge.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah, it's nice. That was easy. Yeah, somebody's been digging in here. Oh, there's a rabbit.
Yep, dinner.
Wow, y'all come through here. Wow. This is tight.
It's tight, but
Although I do have a bag on.
And this is tied up to the top.
just move quick under that boulder. Yeah, don't stop underneath that boulder that's hanging there.
Another board.
Wait, so what was cut by a saw?
And that thing connects to the top. Look.
So how did you know it was cut by a saw?
So this, look at this edge right here.
Oh, okay.
See how straight that is? That's what I saw.
This
And
is
the nails.
There's a boulder connected to it, so it was like.
Right.
Like
So
a counterweight of some kind.
something was going on in here.
Yeah.
There's more boards right down here.
When they were digging over here, there's a pile of dirt on each side of that hole.
Going up here to check if there's any mountain lions. So far, it looks pretty safe. Okay, I think we can get out here. This is going to be a little bit of a scramble right there.
Okay, that was easy. That was good.
That wasn't bad, huh? You got it, buddy?
Oh, yeah.
The brass. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
This is a massive juniper tree right here. Wow, this is crazy. We just stumbled across this. Actually, Alvin the Texan spotted the first sign of it. I had to bring an amateur all the way up here from Texas to find a new historic site out here, man.
Very amateur.
All right, so we're not sure what we stumbled into here, but
Wait, what is this though? This is like closed on both sides.
yeah, it's an old
Something's in it.
can. It's maybe like condensed milk, canned milk or something, dehydrated milk maybe.
Oh yeah. What?
Guys,
Tied
what?
to something for
To
sure.
a pot
Yeah, huge pot. Like maybe,
over here.
do we see any barrel bands?
Yeah.
Yes, barrel bands.
Oh,
Right
yeah.
here.
Oh, all kinds of ceramic? Dude,
Wow.
This is
whoa.
Camping ground?
Yeah, this is sweet. Little,
I wonder if this was an old whiskey still site.
oh, that'd be cool.
Oh, look how old this glass is. Look at that blue.
Oh, man. You don't see that much. That's the top to something, too, right there.
Yep,
There's
yep.
a lid on it.
See, if we were thinking, if we were any kind of outdoorsman, we would have put our pot of beans on beside the fire when we left, and then it would be nice and done and ready for us when we got back to camp.
And then there's these guys, you know, us. We're
Right.
thinking it all the way through.
All right, we had a pretty nice walk, and what I did is I just made up a pot of cowboy beans at home. So right now I've just got it sitting kind of right here next to the fire so it can start to warm up a little bit. As soon as the fire burns down and I've got some coals, we'll set it down on some coals and we'll have us a pot of cowboy beans and franks. I'm just not a big fan of kale, that's all.
Me either, bro.
You don't see it. There's nothing green here. Cheers.
Alvino's got burgers and hot dogs going in a pan down there. Matt and I are macking on cowboy beans and franks. I put beef franks. I got a ham steak and cubed it up.
Not bad, huh?
No, not bad at all.
All right, guys. Well, we had a nice dinner. It's actually started to kind of rain and softly blow a little bit of snow out there, so I decided to go ahead and turn in. We're all kind of wandering towards our camps. We had a really nice dinner tonight. Just getting settled in for my first night inside this T4 tent. Yeah, so this is actually pretty nice in here. Plenty of space. I've got my heater right here. It's keeping it nice and toasty in here. You know, one thing about sleeping in a ground tent like this, especially a nice 3 or 4 person size ground tent, is I forget how nice it is to have kind of this feeling of being in an actual room. If the weather's bad, I can easily hang out in here. That is one nice thing about going the ground tent route, is compared to a rooftop tent where your space is really, really limited. Like, a rooftop tent is really just good for lounging and sleeping for the most part. You know, it's not a great space to actually have to spend a lot of time in, whereas you know, a good sized tent like this Gazelle T4 is perfect for that. It's nice that not only can I stand up in it, but there's even a couple of inches between my head and the ceiling in this, so this really is a very nice amount of space. Set up for me for my little wintertime cabin. I like it. That buddy heater just does a perfect job of heating this space up enough to make it comfortable inside here. It's probably just below freezing outside, so not extremely cold, but definitely chilly, and it sure is nice in here. All right, guys, well, it's really comfortable in here. I've just been lounging in here doing a little bit of reading, but I think that it's getting kind of drowsy, and I think I'm going to slip off to sleep. So that's all for this day, guys. Coyote Works out. I'll see you in the morning for coffee. Well, good morning, guys. I'm just sitting here having a little coffee because I'm in this nice luxurious tent. I have an ice chest in here, so I'm having a little bit of a high brew, cold brew coffee this morning. Got a little colder last night than I was expecting, so I didn't have quite the sleeping bag and sleeping accessories that I probably should have had for the temperature, but you know, a second loadout, I didn't want to mess with the gear that's already in my Jeep. I wanted to do a complete second loadout, so I was kind of putting this loadout together with extra stuff I had. About 3 o'clock in the morning I woke up. I was pretty chilled, so what I did was I got up, I turned the heater on, and then a little bit of a pro tip for you guys. I always keep a few bags of these hand warmers. These are these charcoal activated hand warmers. I always keep a few of these in my clothing bag. I actually broke open 3 of them. I tossed 2 of them down in the foot box of my sleeping bag and put one of them kind of up around my chest area, and got nice and toasty after that. Rolled back to sleep and fell asleep for another 3 hours or something after that. So as far as this tent goes, I guess one of the questions that was in my mind is, you know, how well is it going to work as a winter weather tent? And I think the answer to that is I will be able to make do with it. It's definitely not the perfect winter weather tent. I do have quite a bit of condensation in here this morning, which is typical with a single wall tent. Ideally, for a winter tent, what you would like is your actual inner envelope to be a very breathable, and then with a second layer as your rain fly. Now, this is set up like that in that the top half is a separate rain fly, so the ceiling does stand off quite a bit from the tent body. However, it doesn't appear as though that's really enough ventilation to keep condensation down. So I would say condensation's a little bit more of an issue than in this tent than a tent that's very specifically designed for winter use. Having said that, it is definitely serviceable. It does retain enough heat inside that when I have my buddy heater going in here, I can keep it relatively comfortable. Now, right now it's probably 26 to 28 degrees outside, somewhere in that ballpark. So having said that, at this temperature, pretty comfortable with it. Seems to work okay. I'm definitely able to maintain a nice environment on the inside of the tent here. Plenty spacious enough, lots of room to stand up and change clothes and everything in. So far, very happy with it. Wow, guys, it is chilly this morning. There's frost all over everything. But I just heard either Matt or Alvino start their rig down there. So that means they're up rolling around. So I'm going to cruise down, probably get a fire started. Usually my strategy is to wait until somebody else gets the fire started before I wander down to the community cooking area. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen this morning. So I might have to be the guy. Oh, and I can't tell you guys how awesome it feels to have my grandpa's truck out here on a camping trip. This is probably the first time in, well, let's see, my grandpa was 93 when he died. I think he lost his driver's license when he was about 85. So it's probably been 15 years or something since this truck's been out this far into the backcountry. And it just feels awesome to have this thing newly renovated from the guys over at Lolo Overland. So thanks Josh, Tony, Daniel, Travis, the whole crew over there for doing an awesome job on it. And I'm just so stoked to be out here in the middle of the outdoors, exploring, finding some lost history with Grandpa's old truck. Well, we just all finished breakfast and we're getting ready to take off on a little bit of walk. Alvino and Matt are just grabbing a little bit of gear for the hike. I've kind of got mine all set up. Got my chest packed with just some basic emergency supplies. We're not going to go on a huge one, but maybe a couple of miles. So I wanted to have some basic stuff with me, and hopefully we'll find some cool stuff. We're going to walk up and see if we can figure out some more where we saw some signs of some historic activity yesterday, and then we're going to loop around to another spot where I think there might have also been some moonshine activity. A lot of people don't necessarily think about this, but even in this country during Prohibition there was quite a bit of illicit moonshining going on. And back up here in this area where we've got all these little canyons and draws cutting across this plateau, there was a lot of hiding places. So we're in an area of country here where I actually read a book about a guy that did a lot of moonshining in this country. He eventually got caught and put in prison for it, but this was kind of his territory out here where he ran back and forth, and he would basically set up a still site, brew 1 or 2 batches, and then move it. His theory was as long as he kept moving his still sites, he could avoid getting caught by the authorities. All right, so we're back at the spot where last night, actually Alvino was the one that first picked up this sign, and I think this lid was the first thing you found. But there's a whole pile of cans, old glass here, and so we're back today. We were running out of daylight yesterday, so we're going to look around here a little bit more and see if we can figure out what was going on. But we have a lot of barrel bands. This obviously is a lid off of some big pot. So I'm wondering if this is something related to some whiskey stilling that was done in the area.
Nice little leaf spring.
Right? You got a Bigfoot track over there?
Yeah, a couple.
So one of the things that's really telling about this, or that I like to find, is we have some really big buckets here, but there's no bullet holes in anything. But something else I wanted to show you guys is here is a pot that, or it was some kind of a bucket that they poked a whole bunch of holes in the bottom of here and a whole bunch of holes around the rim. And I wish I could straighten this thing out. It's too rusty to. But I think what this was a burner. They repurposed this bucket into a burner. They would set it like over the flame like this. It had vents in the bottom and then a bunch of holes up here on the top, and I think they used that as a makeshift camp stove. I'm about 50 yards away from that pile of cans over there, and this is pretty cool. old porcelain wash basin right here. After we'd spent long enough looking around at the signs at that site to feel really confident that it was related to the moonshine activity in the area, I gathered up the boys and started to take them on a trek. There was another historic site that was in walking distance of where we were that I was pretty sure Alvino and Matt were really going to appreciate seeing. Do you see anything back up there, Alvin?
No. Probably an animal hole though.
Is that some more?
Uh-huh. We didn't take a lot of film there, but I showed the boys a tucked away little site where there were some ancient Indian pictographs on the rocks. There also was some other historic activity in the area, but the pictographs were the high point for Alvino. All right, we had a nice walk. So I'm going to get my camp kind of buttoned up here and we'll see how this teardown process goes. Hopefully it won't be too much more arduous than the setup, but this will be the first time tearing down. I think I've got a rough idea how to pack everything. So we'll see how this goes, but hopefully it should be pretty simple. We'll have to tear down the cot and just button up a couple of things inside the tent. I'll pull that stuff out, and then we'll collapse the tent. All right, just grabbing a couple of things out of the tent. I try to keep everything in as few of containers as possible, so this is all my sleeping gear inside here, sleeping bag, extra blankets, all of that stuff, pillows, everything in this bag. And it's a big enough bag that I don't have to work too hard to stuff everything in there. All right, I got everything out of the inside and I collapsed the top hub. Now I'm just going to go around and remove the rain fly first, and then I'll collapse the rest of the tent. All right, so now it's just a matter of me collapsing all of these side hubs. So there's the tent all buttoned up, and it's got these straps across the top to tighten it down. So what I do is I lay my cot right on top of it, put these straps over it, and that way my tent and my cot, they're all together as one unit, just like I'm going to use them. And everything's going to be nice and secure, and it won't rattle around in the back of my truck. And again, I try to put things together in as few bundles as possible. You know, one bag that has my sleeping stuff in it, one bundle that has my tent and my cot in it, and that way just have everything kind of grouped together in modules, so to speak, that I can quickly grab. That way if it's dark or stormy or whatever, it's an easy process to set up my camp. All right, so that's that. The tent is set up. I'm gonna go put this in the truck. Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of show you guys just to give you an idea of how simple you can keep it. This is pretty much the entire crux of my camping loadout for this. The only thing I have in the truck is the tent with the cot attached to it and a table and a water jug. But other than that, I really just have these two boxes, this duffel bag, and some kind of an ice chest or some kind of a cooler along with me. You really don't need a lot of stuff to have a pretty comfortable and enjoyable car camping trip. All right, that's camp all buttoned up. Let's go down and see how the guys are doing down there. right, guys, well, we just got our camp all packed up and we got our rigs lined up and we're gonna roll out of here. We're heading out of camp. We had a nice little hike. Did you guys enjoy that hike?
I loved it.
Yeah,
Amazing.
we saw some cool stuff, found some really cool spots. So we're just gonna see some country on the way out of here. I think we're gonna explore a couple of different trails to see if we can get back to another piece of country that I've been in before. So the wind's coming up and it's getting to be kind of an icy chill, so I think we'll all appreciate actually having some time in the rigs for a while. So
Yeah,
so
I would say so.
We'll catch you guys. We'll show you a little bit of the drive on the trail. Really enjoyed hanging out with Matt and Alvin the Texan. We had quite a bit of trail to cover to get back out to the main roads, and it was getting late in the day. We didn't have a lot of time, but I wanted to make one more stop to give us all a chance to hang out a little bit longer and say our goodbyes properly. Plus, I wanted to show Matt and Alvino one last cool historic site on our way out. All right, so we just wanted to do a little bit of an ending clip here for you guys. It's going to get dark pretty soon, and wanted to say it was good hanging out with Matt again. It's been way too long since we've been on an adventure.
Damn right.
I wanted to kind of hear from Alvino. He drove all the way up here from California, visit some friends in Portland, but also to come out here and hang out with me and Matt. And I just wanted to get a feel for what did you think of the trip, man?
Yeah, it was everything and more that I thought it would be.
What was your favorite part?
The Indian paintings on the wall, that was definitely the best part.
Yeah, nice.
So,
That was pretty solid.
like nothing else I'd seen besides in your videos.
Yeah, but all in all, you enjoyed it. Was it worth the drive and everything? And
Yeah, definitely worth almost 4 hours to hang out with Casey for sure. That was, yeah, amazing.
glad you made the trip, man. I really enjoyed hanging out. It was good. Good having the three amigos. It was a good combination. Man.
Oh,
We had
yeah.
a good time. Matt, you enjoyed it, man. It's been a long time since we've been on the trail together.
I always enjoy it, man. I mean, I always see some new stuff, and there's always some good laughs around the campfire, and pretty much throughout the whole day. So it's very enjoyable. I always like getting out.
All right. Well, Matt's camera just fell down, so
That's
I
all
think
right.
we're gonna sign off, guys. We're out of here. And just like that, that was a wrap on the trip. We all headed off in separate directions towards our respective homes and next destinations along our travels. It's just really been an awesome feeling to have Grandpa's truck back out here. Doing this first kind of inaugural trip in it was just really made me think about him and a lot of the adventures that he and I had together. So I'm super stoked about this. I can't wait to continue the adventuring in this truck. Hopefully before too much longer, I'll be able to get some longer trips in for you guys. But as far as the basic loadout with the Gazelle tent, doing the ground tent, the Gazelle tent, basic, you know, camp box and cook box, it really felt good. It kind of took me back to my roots. I used to camp like this for a lot of years and really enjoyed it. I hope you all enjoyed joining us for this adventure. I know I sure enjoyed having you all along. I look forward to your questions, your comments, and as always, I appreciate your support. But above all, I look forward to seeing you on the next adventure. And until then, Coyote Works, out.